All right. I wonder. See if we can put everybody. Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another class. All right. I see we have everyone here, and everyone seems to be alive and well. All right. I'm getting a little rain where I am. How about you guys? Anybody else getting rain where they are?
No, sir. I gained some sunshine now. It
Oh,
was
okay,
overcast
cool.
this morning, but it's sunshine.
All right. All right. So how did you guys find that last exercise?
It took me a very long time, sir.
uh Anybody else? What was your experience with that last exercise? Anybody else?
Sorry,
Sir,
what was it?
Fine. Well, I did give a little warning ahead of time that that exercise was gonna be a little long, right? Though some people would say, boy, so your definition of a little long. But that one is usually a little long, but guess what? That one is usually the most important because you guys, you can imagine how you would use that throughout school. As a matter of fact, I teach most of the other computing modules. So I know for sure, because it comes up again further down. And I would say to my students, by the way, you guys remember how to do this from DDM days. And some people say, boy, it's such a long time. But I always tell them that, look, some of these techniques I expect you guys to be using throughout your schooling. Anyway, so we have another Timon, you have a question?
yes, sir. Completed work from last week. That's the assignment. And I tried uploading it on Thursday, but it said I couldn't. Then I tried again on Friday, and I couldn't. So I don't know if you need to check that.
Oh, anybody else got this trouble?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if there is some.
So I sent you an email.
Oh, okay.
Sir, I had trouble uploading it, but then I had to change the size of my canvas because I had it too big. Because it was having a full like 40 something gig. And then when I changed the size, it went down to 7.
All right.
Sir. Morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, we're talking about the submission on the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, apparently there is an issue with the form. I see. It reached the limit. I need to increase the limit. Okay. All right, limit increased. So therefore, I guess I would need to give you guys until today then. All right, so even though you didn't get to submit, just submit it today. You won't be marked later or anything. Yeah, so apparently the forms have a data limit, so it does, because I use it year after year, so after a while it reached the limit. But it's as simple as a little click of a button to increase it. So I just did that. So the form is supposed to be good to go now. All right. All right. All right. So.
Oh, sorry, quickly. Could I talk to you after class about something? It's Fleming's.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you.
You can do that. All right. So
Sir,
yeah.
I'm not seeing a grade for the activity before the one that was issued last week.
Okay. It might be just that I had marked it before. It could be. Meaning I marked it before you submit before no, because it's an activity. All right. I'll make a note of that. Since today is a short class, we're going to spend the time going through today's lesson. And then when we have some more time, then we spend that on sorting out most of these other issues. All right, guys?
Okay, sir.
So let's keep a note of that. And we can do it. This week we actually have our final exercise. Can you guys believe it? Our final exercise, which would mean we're going into assignment 1. So time for the proving ground, right? So anyway, today we are going to try and look on 2 things. The first thing I want to spend some time on, and we might let's see. I want us to look on the next class exercise, right? It is something that you guys are going to work out on your own. And let me just bring it up here. And I had introduced it last week. Was it last week? I believe it was last week that I had introduced it. There we go. Let's bring up my mirror board. Here we go. Computing. All right. Yeah. Share. Okay. Here we are.
Oh yes, sir. When I went to add in my info on the chart, it said that I didn't have permission to.
Right, I know, because it's set to read only. But anyway, I want us to focus in on this question. For the last 2 classes, last 2 weeks, yeah, we've been dealing with, actually for the last 4 weeks, we've been having this conversation about resolution and vector graphics. We use Photoshop, we use Illustrator, and this is a kind of a summary of those lessons that we learned. And in doing that, I would want us to answer this question, right? So I'd introduced it the last time. We didn't really go through it, so I want to just go through it with you now. But you won't be required. I mean, I'm not going to do it with you. This is for you guys to do, right? You can always ask me questions in the next session if you need. All right. So you are a CSA student preparing your critique presentation, right? And this was, of course, set in the world pre-COVID, right? By the way, we are going back kind of face-to-face now. You've done hand drawings. Have you ever had to print anything yet for any of your studio projects?
Not really, sir.
Okay, you're basically just showing what you produced by hand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this was set in the world pre-COVID, and we are going back to printing eventually. I don't know if you will be asked to print anything this semester or not, but as soon as we go back to printing, and printing is a major part of architecture, the work that we need to submit to the different authorities to give to the engineer for marketing, for presenting your work, all of it links to printing, and a lot of it to large format printing. So you design a sheet with 3 frames that will contain 3 items. Now, when I refer to a frame, I'm referring to as these colors that you see in here. Everybody seeing this clearly on their screen?
Yeah, sir. Seeing it clear.
Okay, cool. Okay, what happened? All right, cool. So here is one frame, frame A, and you can see frame A is kind of this green color. And then here is one frame, frame B, and then we have this other one that is in blue. Now, frames is a term that we're going to get used to when we start to look into using desktop publishing. And a desktop publishing software is InDesign, right? So we're actually going to be using InDesign coming up very soon. And in InDesign, this is where the term frames come from. Frames is kind of like a viewport, like an area, like a designated area for you to place content in. So, you know, in this design field, we tend to refer to, if you're laying out any kind of presentation sheet or document, I would say the more professional word to use is, hey, I have 3 frames in this page, and frames just designate the areas that you want to place stuff. All right, so in those 3 frames, it's going to contain a rendered image from Lumion, all right, a photograph taken with a camera, and a plan created in AutoCAD. Now you plan to print this on a 24 by 36 inch sheet, and on presentation board, roughly about 1.5 meters away, right? So maybe about 5-6 feet thereabout, which is the average distance. If you think about most of the critiques that you have in CSA, well, I guess some of us may not be used to in-person critiques, right? But let's see if I can pull up something here. Let's see, 20. I can never find these pictures when I need it to. Here we go. Right. So most of This is actually a critique in Master Studio, right? And these are different architects. You might recognize some of the faces, maybe not all. Right. So this is usually the kind of scenario that we have in architecture, where you have a critique. This is the master's course, and you need to pin up these sheets. Now you can see that the average distance of persons away is maybe about 5 foot. There are some persons closer. And then from time to time, you might have it where persons might go closer to the screen. At different times, you might also have a model. In this case, there was a model here. And most of your sheets that are here comprise of floor plans, images, rendered images, graphics. All right. Now, you guys are second year in a COVID environment. Have you guys have a critique in this format yet?
Yes, sir. We have had pinups.
Right. But it's with hand drawing work, right? So you know what I'm talking about. The only difference is that it would be printed, right? And that kind of introduces a whole world of other challenges that DDM is supposed to be preparing you for, right? So this would be your frame that's here. Now, I have a couple questions here that I want to ask you guys. And, you know, what is the estimated real world print height and width of the photo that can be produced from your camera phone, right? So I don't know if you remember this. Remember we discussed that your camera will have a certain amount of megapixels, right? And you can determine from your megapixel on your phone what is the largest picture you can print if you decide to print a picture from your phone. Anybody remember that calculation? Maybe we all forgot.
There you go, right now.
All right, so basically the phone that I've given you is a really old phone. I've given you a Samsung Galaxy S8, right? So it leaves desired of. Maybe most of you even have a better phone. So this is the phone that you have. And you need to know that in order to answer the first question, what is the real world print and height of the photo that can be produced on your phone? When you go out on your study tour, your urban study, or maybe when you go to do your final project and you need to take a photo of your context, when you whip out your camera, snap a picture, then you need to print it, right? You need to pay maybe $800 Jamaican to print that sheet. You know, you want to ensure that, hey, when I copy this from my phone, it looks fine on my computer screen, but will it look blurry when it's printed? This is how you find that out. Now, my next question is, which frame should you position the photo from your camera, right? So should you put the photo in frame A or should you put the photo in frame B? Now, how would you know this? Because when you calculate what is the maximum size I can get from this camera phone, then you will know, oh, can I fit it in 14 by 20 and it not be blurry? Or should I fit it in this 11-inch by 10-inch region, right? Remember, you have already designated the regions. And let's say you did this in something like Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, right? Normally, when you have your sheets, you lay it out somewhere. Now, I think for the most part, you guys have been using what? Google Slides?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Google Slides.
Right. Now, when you are doing your presentation sheets to be printed, I don't want to hear anybody using Google Slides, PowerPoint, Word, Publisher. When you are doing sheets to be printed, I'm expecting you guys to use proper software, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. You got me? I mean, laying out stuff to go on a screen is different from laying out stuff to print. And I think you guys are at a little disadvantage because when we switch back to the world of, you know, printing and all of that, which would possibly be this semester, you dare not lay out your work in slides and then send it to, then PDF it and send it to be printed on a big 24 by 36. That is a high risk proposition there, right? If you need to show this stuff in an online meeting, then most definitely you can lay it out in slides. You don't have to lay it out in Photoshop and do all these things. So you guys are going to have to make that transition, whereas persons before COVID, they would have already kind of done that over and over again. Important for you guys to know a little bit about these calculations so that when you pay your big money to print, you don't have any trouble, right? So the first thing is, the second thing rather is you want to decide where should you put the photo taken from your camera. Now note, you don't want to position the photo in the largest possible frame where it, you want to position your photo in the largest possible frame where it will not be blurry based on the resolution your phone can produce. So meaning that you want the photo to be as big as possible, but if it's going to be big and blurry, don't do it. All right. Third question. Why aren't these numbered? I need to number them. Just don't have a number and it does have bullets. Oh, it does have numbering, yeah. Let's take that off. Oh, this is why I didn't number it. Exactly. Anyway, third question. After positioning your photo, the alternate slot will be used for rendering, right? Our next exercise is going to involve modeling. And then next year, you guys would be learning rendering. So you're going to be doing those awesome photorealistic rendering and 3D explosions and those awesome stuff. But in this case, for question 3, it says that the alternate slot will be used for rendering. What resolution should you render the image generated from Lumion, right? Now, when you go into a rendering program, the bigger the image, the longer it takes to render, right? Remember, we had this discussion about resolution a couple of weeks ago, where we're saying, you know, what is a large resolution? And we realized that there is no such thing as a large resolution, right? Because the largest possible, remember I showed you this ridiculous image that was 16,000 pixels wide and it couldn't even open on a phone. And then I showed you this other 3,000 pixel wide image, which was fine. At the end of the day, when you're talking about pixels, it is based on how it's going to be viewed, right? So there's no such thing as a sharp image. It's only sharp in a certain context, right? So you are going to determine what resolution you should render from. Now, here is this answer. Choose, this is important, choose your answer from the image standard list. Now, I want to introduce you guys to this list, and this list you can actually find on Wikipedia or all over the world. But basically, this is a listing of all the standard resolutions that exist, right? Now, just like how you have sheet size, you have resolution size. For example, anybody here, well, I should assume most people here have a flat screen TV, right? Anybody here that has a flat screen TV that knows what is the resolution of that TV? I said TV more than monitor. Come on, I know you guys have a TV. Who have a TV? Who knows what's... If you have a TV right there now, some of you might be on your TV for the class. What is the resolution? Well, no, let me ask a different question. What is the resolution standard on that TV? Normally that's big and bold on the box.
4K.
What was that? 4K?
Yeah.
Good, that's a good answer. 4K. Anybody have another TV that's not 4K, that's something else?
Sir, that was so shady. Oops, Taylor, Mike.
Hold on, you have multiple mics going. You need to mute.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah, man. I can't hear you. What was your answer? Okay. So one person said 4K. Anybody else?
Sir, never mind. I'm not hearing you. I have to fix something.
Oh, okay, all right. Anybody else that has a TV nearby, or they know what resolution standard is written on their TV? Anybody bought a TV recently or looking to buy a TV? You never see these numbers written on it, 4K. What other numbers do you see written on TVs? Anybody?
1080p.
Ah, there goes another one. 1080p. Anybody else?
Sir, 8K?
Ooh, 8K. The chest high, man. Right, so and then you have like 2K. But I was expecting to hear people say HD. I mean, come on, this is like the most, like, everything nowadays mark HD. All shoes and clothes mark HD. Everything mark HD. What does HD stand for?
High definition.
Right. So have you ever
QHD too?
Ah, no. You mean FHD or UHD? Anybody ever say TV mark UHD? Right. So these are names when you walk into courts, when you walk into Best Buy or Walmart or whichever store in the world you are. These are the numbers that are brandished big and bold on these devices, even on your computer, right? You see them say 4K and 1080p and 8K and 2K and HD, right? So HD is high definition. FHD is full high definition. UHD, who can tell me what UHD is?
Ultra high definition.
Ah, was that a guess or was that a Google?
I know, sir. I know.
So yes, it's ultra high definition. Now here's the interesting thing, right? 4K is ultra high definition. 1080p is the same as FHD, right? Well, 2K is just 2K and 8K is like the future, right? It's a little bit of a ridiculous future, but it is the future. So you might see TVs that say FHD, or you might see TVs that say 1080p. You might see TVs that say 4K, or you might see TVs that say UHD, right? And there is all kind of other fancy acronyms and all of that. But all of these things are called resolution standards. And for example, when you open Photoshop or Illustrator, or maybe if you're going to use a video editing program, you might see them come up again. Do you want to edit this video in 2K, HD, FHD, whatever? Or when you open Photoshop, if you're trying to choose a sheet size and you choose video, then these are the terminologies that you're going to see, right? So these resolution standards, you can actually put them on a scale, and that is what this scale is showing, right? Now, I think I need to switch this to optimize for video because this must be pretty small. But you can actually get this from like where did I get this one again? This one came from Wikipedia. But these charts exist all over. Now let me zoom in a little bit. Now remember we spoke about HD, right? So HD would fall right here. Let me try and draw this line kind of neat. All right, does everybody see that size with HD? Here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Full HD would be here. All right, and this is full HD. And if you look at all of them, you have 2K, then you have WUXGA. I bet you never hear of that one, right? But I mean, you can just imagine that these terms are so confusing that that it can be confusing. But there are only a few that are popular. So HD, full HD, let's see, QHD, I think it's there. And some of these terms I don't even remember what they mean. And you can actually find those meanings down here, I believe. Right. Well, no, you might have to Google the acronym similar. Now check this out. 8K is all the way down here. This is so crazy. So if you have an 8K television, right, this is the size of your TV in terms of pixels. And if you have a full HD or 4K television, 4K is here, then this is the size of your television. If you have HD, full HD rather, then that is the size. So I mean, an 8K screen is just massive amount of pixels. It's crazy, right? So anyway, the answer that you select, like for question 3, when you're in Lumion, what resolution should you choose? Now in Lumion and in most rendering program, it's going to ask you the question, do you want to render this video at HD, full HD, QHD, or whatever, right? So based on this chart that you see here, you're going to put the appropriate acronym with the resolution. The closest resolution that would allow you to fit in whichever frame you select and is closest to the ratio. You understand? This answer is very tricky because, for example, let's say that your answer is HD, right? Let's say your answer is HD. Or your answer could be WXGA. Now, if you notice HD and WXGA, they're like almost the same sizes, right? But how you will get your answer is when you work out that formula. When you say, all right, then, based on, let's go back here. I didn't paste the formula here. I thought I did. Where did we work this out the last time? This is where we worked it out. Right. So remember how we turned this around the last time? If we want to get the resolution height, then we have to do the real height multiplied by the DPI. Anybody remembers how we get the DPI? How do we get DPI?
Or from the machine that is displaying from or printing from, right?
That
Like a
is
printer, for
true.
example.
That is true. Or how do we, that is true. What is the limit of the machine that we are, of the device that we are displaying on? In the case where the limit can be anything, what other aspect do we use to determine the DPI? So for example, a printer you're printing on can print at 400 DPI. But does that mean you should use a value of 400 here? How should you determine how much out of that 400 you need? You're just about to answer. Start to touch it.
Viewing distance?
Exactly. And if you remember from our discussion, it's actually in the last presentation. All right, let me just write it down here. If you remember for our discussion, we said that, all right, some averages is that for a printed document, let's go in a little closer. All right, for a printed document, forgive me, I'm writing with the mouse here. We want to be 300 DPI. And why is that? Because you are very close. When you're looking at a document, you're like inches away from the paper. So you will notice when something is blurry, right? We said that for a poster, which is basically like the image that I showed you. So for example, when you're in a critique, so this is like a poster size. On average, you can use anywhere from 150. Well, I would say let's leave that 150. You can always go more, you know. So the sky is the limit with how much you can go. You're only limited by the device that you're printing on. And for billboards, you want to be like 100 DPI. And of course, we all know what a billboard is, and we usually are very far from a billboard. And the last one is for a screen. And the difference with screen is that you, in most cases, you don't have a choice. Actually, wait, let me put screen. Oh crap, that doesn't look like the word screen. Let me try and do a little better, right? Because I'm always telling my son he need to write better. And I am not doing much better. Though I am using a mouse, so I have a good excuse. Oops. For screen, it would be 72 DPI. Now, DPI. Now, the reason that a screen is 72 DPI is with a screen, you don't have a choice. The screen can't go more than 72 anyway. So why are you going to use 300? However, for these three options here, chances are the printer you're using can even go 600 DPI. Who knows? So you get to choose when it comes to printing what DPI you want to use. But for any kind of screen, 80% of the time, it's going to be limited to 72 DPI anyway. So it don't make sense you use more than that. So these are the values these are the values that you use in the formula here, and those are how you get those values. All right. Now, if you wanted to get the real print height, that's easy because you know what you want to print at. Let's look back at our thing here. You know, we know that our real print height is 11 inches by 10 inches. This is the actual paper. This is the actual space that we're going to print this thing on. Or it could be 14 by 20. Now you realize here that how we chose to do this is that we decided that we're going to place our photo from our camera phone first before placing the rendered image from Lumion. Now, who can tell me why we would do it in that order? Why not just place the Lumion image first and then place the photo from our camera? Can anybody tell me?
Because we could change the resolution for the Lumion image.
Good answer. That is a good answer. There is another half to that answer, but I want somebody else to give me. What is the other half to that answer? So you are correct in saying that, you know, you can choose what resolution you want Lumion to render at, because you know what you pay. All right. Well, let me throw it. I'm just gonna be throwing out questions left, right, and center. What is the trade-off in choosing the resolution you want to render in a rendering program like Lumion? What are you paying? What is the trade-off? What is the catch? What is the disadvantage?
Sir, time.
Exactly. The larger the resolution, the longer you're going to wait. So let's go to another question I'll throw out then. The other half to that answer. You can choose the resolution that Lumion will render at. Now, what about your phone?
Sir, that's at a set resolution. So
Exactly.
to prevent it from being blurry, you would put it first, decide which size would be best for it to not be blurry and for it to be the sharpest, and then put the
good
rendered
answer.
image in the other frame.
Excellent answer. And what is the trade-off with getting a higher resolution on your phone or on your camera?
Sir, the
Sir, isn't it-
file size.
Nope. I mean, that is also a trade-off, but not the biggest one.
Sir, isn't it also the processing power?
Is it the what?
The processing power. So like your phone won't be as able to render something that is very high resolution.
Nope. So think about it. When you have your image in Lumion or any rendering program, the larger you go, your trade-off is time. That is what that's your trade-off. So with your phone, if your phone cannot produce the resolution, what is the trade-off to increase the resolution of your phone?
Money.
Exactly. Just buy a new phone. Now, if you are determining where something should go and you'll be like, oh man, I would need a better camera to fit a picture in, let's say, this here. No problem. I'll just go out and buy another $80,000 phone. Or you're in Lumion and you say, I'm going to need a higher resolution, so no problem. I'll wait an extra 10 minutes for the image. Obviously, it's easier for you to wait more time in Lumion than it is to go out and buy a brand new phone because you don't have the resolution. And that is exactly why you want to place your images first. You want to place the item that is most limited, right? And these are issues that persons in CSA face all the time. You have 7 different frames on your sheet to show. You should be placing the things that you can't readily change first, and that becomes a part of your design. And we're going to look into that as we go further in the semester. The last question is, as time is almost up, what format should the AutoCAD drawing be saved in to place on the presentation board? All right. So these are the questions that I want you guys to answer. You're going to answer it on your own, and you're going to submit your answer on the website. The submission button is on your website. There are some tips that I place here so you guys can remember. So for example, the resolution standard sheet is there. Also, when I ask what file type, AutoCAD can save JPEG, TIFF, PNG, RAW, PSD, or PDF, EPS, AI, or SVG. What file format should you save your AutoCAD drawing in, right? Because remember, these are the things that make up your presentation board, right? You have an AutoCAD drawing, you have a photo, and you have a rendered image from Lumion. Where do you place them based on the size? And I want you guys to just wrap this up and give me. I'm gonna give you guys until next week. So come next week, we'll be discussing the answer, right? And you would have, in order to get this grade, guys, you need to have already submitted it before the class in which we discuss the answer. Naturally, can't give you the answer and then you submit it. That doesn't make no sense, right? So that is what I want you guys to do. Okay, is there anything you guys don't understand or you need to understand? Or any questions you have for this? All right. So you guys, I suggest you guys can go into groups. You can discuss it amongst yourself. This is not an exam. So some of us might not be so used to the whole formula thing. This board is here. This whiteboard is here. You guys can go and look through some of the things we did. You would have to kind of figure out my handwriting, but with a little time you can do that. Remember, we had these discussions about the whole image size and that kind of stuff. So you can use these notes to help you as well as any class recordings that I upload. Okay, guys? All right, so I will leave it. I will leave it there. Good luck. I look forward to your answers, and I will see you again on Wednesday, where we will do our final exercise, which will be 3D. So guys, come with your SketchUp, ready to do some modeling. All right.
Sir,
Yes.
I want to ask about something.
You want to?
Ask about something.
Oh, is it in a public setting or does it have to be in a private setting?
It doesn't matter that much, but I think
Okay, yeah, man.
someone
Ask
benefit from hearing.
Ask
Yes,
away.
sir. So
Before you ask,
are
so the rest,
the
before you ask, so the rest of you guys, if you need to go, you can go. Class is done. I'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Okay. Yeah. What's your question?
yes, sir. I'm one of the persons who added DDM from who wanted to add DDM from year one, but it was denied. However,
Right.
I think Miss Baker is saying that it is possible for us to do it informally now, and when we actually take it up next year, we can just possibly like transfer grades. Is that possible? Are you willing to do that, sir?
I like how you put the second part of that statement because the question is if the lecturer is willing to do that.
Right. So yeah.
Well, okay, to answer the question, yes, I'm willing to do that. However, it depends on lecturer to lecturer. So if for any, God forbid, unforeseen reason, I am not here next year, then I don't know. How would the other lecturer get your grade? You know what I mean? Because it's more of a kind of an individually based decision. You know what I mean?
Right. So,
I mean, I don't foresee anything will happen to me, but you know, I have to point out the risk of doing that. So, but the answer to your question is sure, I do it. I mark it just like any other student, but I won't be able to insert it in UTech system. The other question you should ask yourself is, I'm not sure in terms of policy, because how does that work out in terms of like payment and all of that. I mean, you would still need to pay for the course. It's just that maybe you wouldn't have to come to class, I guess, because you already do the work.
Right, sir. Yeah. I'll just pay next year when I get to finally pay.
Right. But and then the other thing is that I mean, as I said, that is based on a lecture by lecture um, decision, and it would usually have to be for a good reason to do that. So, like, we would have to talk about the reasoning behind wanting to do that, because it is not like it's just a regular option that you can say, you know, okay, we just mark way more this year for next year.
Right, sir.
It's usually based on a specialized situation. Maybe, I don't know, there's some situation that you're in that would warrant that. So we can talk about that after. But the short answer is that yes, I'm willing to do it. Let's see what the reasonings are and see if it's valid that I do it for that reason or those reasons.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what Rochelle said. It's between me and her. I emailed you and I would like for you to respond to it. I'd rather talk about it one-on-one.
Which email? Is it the UTech or?
I got one from a classmate, the one about the CSA UTech one, the class one.
Okay.
DDM.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No problem.
Is it possible for me to get your personal email or?
You mean the UTech email? Sure.
Yours.
Yeah. Brian.williams@utech.edu.jm. Let me type it in the chat. Okay, there we go. All right.
So, sir, I will just forward the message to you. So, I would like a response to it.
All right, yeah, man. I am looking there now. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to do that. Now that I know that it is over in that email that we created. That's the utech.csa@ddm, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Yeah, man, I'll go over there and grab it. Probably what you should do is still send it to me so that I can reply to it. You know, I can just hit reply from my UTech email. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, I'd like to talk to you after class, but when everybody finishes.
Okay, we're in after class, but meaning in private or?
Yes, sir.
All right, no problem. Stand by.
Sir.
Yeah?
When I was doing the exercise 4, something happened and like all of the layers and some of the things like disappeared. So I had to like redo it. I had to start over from scratch. So I didn't get to submit in the time and the form closed.
Right. But luckily for you, it's not that the form closed, but rather it was a technical glitch. The form ran out of space. So because of that technical glitch, the time get extended to today. So you're all good.
All right, sir.
Okay. Who was the person again for the breakout room?
I think
So
that was
I'll
me.
shoot you an email afterwards discussing my reason.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, do that.
No problem.
Yes, sir. I had wanted to speak to you. I requested to speak to you earlier in class, sir. I don't know if you need a breakout room or not.
Yeah, I'm doing a breakout room real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Man, what's up?
Okay, sir. Well, I don't know. Well, you were speaking to someone else about something that's similar to my situation, but not really. What happened is that I actually just got my machine. I think it was Saturday or Friday, so I haven't been able to actually submit or even do the 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 class assignments, the activities. So I'm not sure if I'm able to still do them and submit them because I still haven't been able to speak to Mr. Campbell about actually sourcing them as yet because I just got it. Like over the weekend I got it.
Yeah. Sure. What you would have to do is, well, as I always say, put it in the comments. And I guess what it's good that you got it in the nick of time because, as I say, it's our last exercise. So the next assignment to do is going to be 25%. So it's good that you have it for the high the high mark assignment. So yeah, so I just put it in the description so that I recognize that when I'm going over again and marking your work.
Okay, sir. I have one more question. The number that you gave was for Mr. Campbell. Do you know if it also works for WhatsApp? Because I'm not actually on the island right now.
It's only for WhatsApp.
Oh, it's only for WhatsApp. Okay. All right.
Right. So you're good to go.
You had also mentioned that there would be like a time limit for when we could actually get the softwares. Do you think it would have expired by now or not?
No, there's no time limit. Just talk to Mr. Campbell and he will help you out.
All right, I'll give him a call right away then, sir.
Yeah. Sometime he might to get because he's all over the place. But see if we can talk to him.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Yes.